Over the past year or so, I've been reviewing devices mainly for Verizon. Honestly, everyone that I've reviewed has been a Verizon device. However, I was contacted a couple of weeks ago by XDA asking if I would review this device, the HTC Droid DNA. Again, it's a Verizon device, but it came directly from HTC. Does that really make a difference? Not entirely. However, that does mean this review is going to go in two different directions. You're going to have one video that is entirely consumer-oriented, Android geek-oriented, and then the other video that's primarily focused on development, which will be posted over on XDA developers. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about this phone in terms of specs. The Droid DNA is rocking a 5-inch 1080p display. It's Super LCD3, which is kind of interesting. Most of the devices we're seeing now are Super AMOLED or some other form of AMOLED, not Super LCD. And actually it says Super LCD3, so I may be off entirely with that. But at least at the time of the device's creation, it had the highest resolution and the highest pixel density of any smartphone on the market, and it is still one of the highest, if not the highest. It features a 1.5 GHz quad-core Qualcomm S4 Pro processor, and that one's a mouthful. It has 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of built-in storage, a 2020 mAh battery that is not end-user replaceable, an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera, a 2.1 megapixel front-facing camera, both of which have f2.0 lenses in them, and actually both of which are supposed to support 1080p video recording. And of course the other stuff. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, micro USB, headset jack, micro SIM, things like that. And just in case I forgot to mention it, it is running Android version 4.1.1 with HTC Sense 4 on it. And boom, like magic, the scene has changed a little bit. We now have a laptop with lots and lots of information on it, information that is development related in terms of the Droid DNA. First up, the foremost question that most people want to ask when it comes to developing for an Android-based device: is there source available? Well, according to the HTC dev site, the Droid DNA does have source code available. It came out approximately 9 days after the release of the device. Came out sometime around the end of November, and the device released on something like the 21st of November 2012. So while it's not 100% GPL compliance, it is definitely pretty close. If you go over to the HTC dev site, I'll have an image over the screen so you can see what I'm doing. You can see that they do have, for the Verizon Droid DNA, kernel version 3.4.10, Android version 4.1, although I believe the DNA's been updated to 4.1.1 since then, so this may not be 100% compliant, but at some point it was somewhat compliant. It does have the source code for the kernel, as well as all of the binaries that are required, which does lead us in the direction of what can you do with that source? Well, generally you can build new kernels for the device, you can build new ROMs for the device, and the community has done a ton of work with this device. If you check out the link I'm going to post down in the video description, there is a thread over on the forum listing all of the official ROMs, the stock ROMs, the community ROMs. Actually, it doesn't appear that there are any official ROMs from any official sources out there, but there are a boatload of ROMs available. Recoveries, kernels, rooting, different mods that are available for the device. So you can find everything sort of all in one place, although it does appear that the forum thread might be a bit out of date. Last updated 16th of February 2013. As of today, it's March 28th. Who knows what day this video is actually going to be uploaded. Probably the 30th. But still, you've got a couple of collections of stock firmware, so if something goes wrong, you can always flash back to those. Just like with all other HTC devices, it is possible to go to the HTC dev site and unlock it, although apparently there may be issues with that. I don't know if the official device is on there or not because I didn't try to unlock the one that I had. But there is an exploit that has been made available that will allow you to essentially trick the device into thinking it's something else, then go to the HTC dev site and do the unlock with no issues. And apparently no warranty voiding, but I would make sure to read up on the forum threads just to make sure on that one. HTC Dev has a history of voiding your warranty when you unlock the device. You know, there's fine print written in there that if you do this, you will void your warranty. But if you want to root the device, there's definitely instructions for how to do that. Essentially, you just flash a recovery over to it, and then you flash Super SU over to it, and you're pretty much done. Several different kernels, lots of different mods, including things like Beats DNA, Camera Mod, and honestly a boatload of community-supported ROMs are available, but nothing official. So there's a lot of CyanogenMod ports, but nothing directly from the CyanogenMod team. There's no AOSP, of course, because there's only a handful of devices in the AOSP. But it does sort of beg the question, why are there no official CM ports of for the Droid DNA, if there is kernel source and binaries available. Maybe they're incomplete. Personally, haven't had the chance to talk to the CM developers to see why. If any of them do happen to be watching, I would definitely welcome some comments down in the video, down in the comment section below the video description. So yeah, just to sort of keep this video short, sweet, and to the point, if you are interested in developing for this device, there is a lot of stuff out there that can get you started. There's an entire section on the forum dedicated to it, including things like ROMs and kernels and recoveries. I know I'm repeating myself here, but I'm just wanting to nail that point home. And like I said before, it does mention in the source that it is for 4.1, so maybe that's the reason why they're not officially supporting it with CyanogenMod, simply because there's not 4.1.1, 4.1.2 official source released. I may be entirely mistaken on that one, however. And I will say, I did take a look at the source beforehand. I went through it, downloaded it on my Ubuntu machine, and attempted to build it, and their instructions are not that great, at least from my point of view, and I'm not an Android developer at this point. So building it was not straightforward. I went through and actually followed it. It says, please follow the command below. You pull down the tool chain, you run make on it to do the compilation and everything. Did not work. It didn't pull things down to the right directories. It didn't pull down everything it needed. So while the instructions are incomplete, I was not able to get it built. That doesn't mean somebody else is not going to be able to. I'm sure other people have gotten it to build because there are so many things in the community out there for it. So if you have this device and you want to develop for it, or if this is a device you're looking at in terms of development, definitely look at this forum thread. Lots and lots of information available out there. Of course, you can always pull the source code down from the HTC dev website. Anyway, for the rest of the information on this device, for a look at it from a consumer's point of view, head on over to my video. I'll have a link to that down in the video description as well, and perhaps an annotation somewhere on the screen if the person who will upload this will put one up here. But that's going to be about all from me for today. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video.